Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, a little bit of a scrapping project here. I got my mom's, it's a Maytag. I don't know what, it just says Maytag on it. Like she said, it still says made in the USA, but this was when they were about ready to get bought out, and they were just throwing crap together because it's not, I mean, it's fairly old, but it's not that old of an oven. It's got digital stuff on it. And here's the problem here. This went bad, allowed these relays, I believe is what it is, in here to, they got stuck and actually caused the oven to overheat to a point where it was like throwing out alarms. Luckily she was able to go downstairs and flip off the switch before her house caught on fire, but had she have not been home for some reason and been baking something in the oven and left for a minute, that could have got really bad. But anyhow, one of these went bad. Now I could probably go in here and I don't know if you can see this, one of these went bad, and I could have went in here and maybe, you know, took and sandpapered some of this out and everything like that, taken and gotten them unstuck and made them work for a while longer, but who knows how much longer it would have been, and I didn't want to take that chance, and neither did she. So we went to look about getting parts for it to see if I could get maybe this new board. And you can't get that according to the place. I'm sure if I went online, looked up numbers, I could probably find something, but they said they would have to send it in, and it was going to be almost $300 to have that fixed. So anyway, needless to say, she didn't want to go that route and went and bought a new stove. So we're going to go ahead and tear this one apart and see if it's worth scrapping. Can already tell you right now it is, because it's better than taking it and throwing it away and having to pay for throwing it away. But we'll see what's inside. A little bit of background on this. If you were trying to fix this for some reason and trying to get to this part or anything up in here, the stove top here lifts up, and you're going to want to lift that up and actually get that off. I can't remember if I had to. I think there was a couple of screws that I had to unscrew to get that off in the back. I'm not actually positive, and I did have to undo the back. But anyway, and then you can kind of come up through here and get a bunch of screws to get this part off here. And you'll have to pull the knobs off, undo a bunch of wiring and that kind of stuff to pull this completely apart. Just so if for some reason you wanted to tear this apart without hurting it. As you can see, I kind of tore it apart. I'm just kind of digging around looking for things, and quite honestly, I found a couple sensors over here that really weren't worth the effort, and I just pretty much yanked all the wires. There's a couple sensors on the back I took off, and I know supposedly there's good metal or good things in there, but by the time they get them out, my scrapyard anyways only pretty much gives me scrap value for it, so scrap metal value, so it's not really worth it to me to yank all that stuff apart. And I'm sure there's some more wires and sensors inside, but right now it's not worth it to me to go grabbing for those few little things by the time I spend my time and effort pulling this whole thing apart. So I'm going to put it all back together sort of, and then I'm going to call that just scrap metal. That's as far as I'm going with it, like I said. Now right there is garbage. Just those few little things in there is plastic, which some of that could have probably stayed in there and could have went with it, but I'll just throw it away. And then right here we got kind of the electronic switches and boards. There's lots of different things in there, from copper to brass, and a bunch of screws and things like that. So it depends on how far you want to dig into those, what they're worth. Then we got a little bit of wire that I just yanked kind of out of the whole thing and off the back. I'm sure there's probably more inside, but honestly not that much more. And then we got this piece here, which is aluminum, which is just the cover plate kind of piece. And then right there we got some stainless. Also something kind of neat, inside the drawer here that was down on the bottom. Inside that is this bucket here, and that'll be a nice bucket for you know, antifreeze or whatnot, a drain bucket. So I'm going to keep that and use it for a drain bucket. But anyhow, is it worth tearing apart? Yes. I mean, it's better to make a few dollars hauling it off to the scrap yard with what, even if it's just a few, even if it's just this. You know, if you don't make anything, you're at least not paying to haul it off to a scrap yard other than your gas, which you're going to pay for gas on your way to the dump too. So, you know, it's up to you on what you think as far as that. I mean, I would wait till I have a load. The rest of the little bits and parts, you know, they're easy enough to get to where it's worth grabbing that stuff off real quick, I still think. And hopefully scrap prices will go up here pretty soon. I'm sure they will. They always go up and down. Unfortunately, they've just been down more, it seems, lately. I don't know in your neck of the woods, but mine definitely a lot more down for the scrap metal. What I used to get $60 for a load for, you know, I was getting, you know, $15, $20 for. So I'm haven't been doing it a lot.
Since if you guys only watch my scrapping videos, it's been quite a while, so if that's the only videos you watch of mine, I'll let you see my ugly mug one last time and sign off. This is Sam, Jack of all, master of none. You all have a good one.